Hi, I'm Heather. I'm a nurse with asthma and other lung traumas. And during lockdown, I want to share my experiences, my many experiences with you, in the hope that you'll also share your tips and tricks to breathe as well as we can during lockdown. Today, I want to talk about breathing pattern disorders and your nervous system. And basically, about 18 months ago, I learned something quite big about myself, and it was the mother of a child who had asthma who looked at me one day and said, "You know, Heather, you've got a breathing pattern disorder. You overbreathe." And when I'm anxious or when I'm really excited, and particularly when I'm public speaking, which is difficult, I get very either excited or nervous, and I tend to breathe too much. By this, I mean that my body thinks that I need more breaths than I actually do. And that's a lot to do with my childhood when I was fairly uncontrolled asthmatic, and my young adulthood when I had various other things happen. And so it's a habit of mine that actually now I'm aware of. And that's the important thing to tell you, so that you may be able to recognize the same thing in either yourself or friends and family, and particularly children. About 10% of children with asthma will have breathing pattern disorder. And I'm not going to go over all the signs and symptoms apart from the fact you breathe too much. I will put a link to the test that your doctor's surgery will do if you are concerned, so you can have a look at the signs and symptoms, because they may not notice it in a short consultation. And so what happens when I breathe too much? I tend to breathe quite shallowly and quickly and hungrily. Is that I blow off, when I breathe out too much carbon dioxide, and that changes the chemistry in my blood, and it gives me asthma symptoms in a nutshell. And I can almost feel my air passages changing, and was completely unaware of that until recently. So what do I do about it? Well, the first thing is that when I'm out walking, I try to breathe through my nose rather than my mouth. And that seems to slow me down. And this is part of a technique called Buteyko, the Buteyko method. And I'll give you a link to Buteyko. There are various practitioners' books and videos that you can buy, but they're a bit expensive. But the first thing to do is, if you think you've got a breathing pattern disorder, is to breathe through your nose if you can when you're out and about. And believe you me, that's not as easy as it sounds. The second thing is to try to relax my breathing more and to breathe less. And for that, you need to use a technique called 2-to-1 breathing. I did a little bit on this on the pursed-lipped video breathing. And for those of you that do yoga, you'll probably know far more than me about this because it's used commonly in yoga. And what it means is that you want to breathe in for half of the length of time that you breathe out. So breathe out twice as long as you breathe in. That's a better way around to put it, isn't it? So you're going to breathe in through your nose, say for 2, and breathe out for 4. And you can do it as part of relaxation. Close your eyes, sit yourself comfortably, breathe in for 2 and out for a count of 4. And for some of you, especially if you're in recovery from coronavirus, and what the experts are saying is that people who have had bad COVID-19 symptoms may start to develop breathing pattern disorders, which is why I particularly want to point this out to you. now's the time to think about trying a 2-to-1 breathing, and you'd start with perhaps breathing in for a count of 2 and out for a count of 4, and then stretch it. So breathe in for 3 and out for 6, and breathe in for a count of 4 and out for a count of 8. And this will take a tremendous amount of practice for those of you who are in recovery from a pneumonia. I've had pneumonia. Don't even want to talk about it. You need these sorts of exercises to get you better. Now, every breath you take is linked to your nervous system, and this is another thing that dawned on me not too long ago, and I'm a nurse, so there you go. So when you breathe in, that stimulates the sort of fight and flight part of your nervous system. That's called the sympathetic nervous system. And when you breathe out, it stimulates relaxation. And because I work a lot with children, I call the in-breath the scaredy cat breath, and the out breath is the dozy dog. And so we want to breathe out some dozy dogs longer, twice as long as the scaredy cats. So breathe in for 2 scaredy cats and out for 4, a count of 4 dozy dogs. And a really nice way to do this with children is to get them comfy on the sofa. Maybe they are in recovery from an asthmatic episode, or they've got a cold or something like that, and to put their favourite soft toy on their tummy where they're going to breathe from. Children naturally breathe from their abdomens, whereas we adults, that's another bad habit. We don't intend to do that, especially if we've got lung disease. We tend to breathe more from our chests than we do from our tummies. So children know, and get them to close their eyes and breathe in for 2 scaredy cats through their nose and out for 4 dozy dogs. And if they want to, they can watch their toy go up and down with their breathing. Basically, when you have asthma, you want anything to take your mind off what's happening in your chest, don't you? Don't lie a child down when they're acutely breathless, please don't. But you get my meaning. So be aware of your breathing patterns. If you're worried, go to see the doctor or nurse and have them do a test. Look up potato. It is recommended by NICE, so I'm quite safe to tell you about that, and I'll give you another link to that. And try to slow the rate of your breathing if you're in recovery from coronavirus, and breathe out for 4 dozy dogs and try and breathe in for only 2. And if you can do that, you're doing well. Until next time, please stay safe.